You ever hear a story that sounds so insane, so out of this world, that your brain immediately goes, nah, no way. But your gut whispers, wait, what if this actually happened? Because that's exactly what this story feels like. It's about a man who built a car that didn't need gas, didn't need oil, didn't need anything we're told a car has to run on. He built a car that ran on water. Yeah, water. And before you roll your eyes, just hear me out. Because what happened to this man, how quickly people tried to shut him down, and the way his story ended is the kind of thing that sticks with you. So let's rewind. Our story starts in the late 1980s. A regular guy named Stanley Meyer, not some big scientist, not some billionaire inventor, just a dude, a tinkerer, the kind of guy who couldn't leave a toolbox alone. One day he gets this idea in his head. What if a car didn't need gasoline? What if it could split water into hydrogen and oxygen on demand inside the engine itself? He calls it the water fuel cell, a device that supposedly takes regular tap water and turns it into enough energy to power a whole car. Now here's the crazy part. Stanley didn't just talk about it, he built it. He had an actual dune buggy that he drove around the neighborhood, and people saw it. He showed it to journalists, he filmed demonstrations. The car ran on water. He said 1 gallon of water could take you 200 miles. Imagine that. 200 miles for basically nothing. And here's where things get weird. Very weird. The moment Stanley goes public with his invention, big companies start circling. Oil companies, energy corporations, government agencies. Everybody suddenly wants a meeting. And instead of being excited, instead of seeing this as a miracle breakthrough, they react like someone lit a fuse under their chair. People try to buy the patents. People try to silence him. People tell him to walk away from the whole thing. Stanley refuses. He tells reporters proudly, they want this shut down, but I'm not going anywhere. He starts giving interviews. He says things like, this will change the world. We don't need fossil fuels anymore. This is just the beginning. And every time he speaks, he sounds calm, confident, completely sure of himself. Then late one night, Stanley tells his brother something that doesn't feel like paranoia. It feels like a warning. He says he's being watched, followed, that he can't trust the people approaching him anymore, that someone wants this invention buried. Fast forward a few months, Stanley is out to dinner, a normal evening. He takes a sip of cranberry juice, immediately clutches his neck, falls out of his chair, runs outside into the parking lot. His brother follows him, and Stanley, gasping for air, says just 2 words, they poisoned me. And then he collapses. He dies within minutes. That's where the story should have ended. But it didn't, because right after Stanley's death, his lab is raided. Equipment disappears, documents vanish, prototypes go missing. Whatever he built, whatever he figured out, is gone. Authorities rule it natural causes, a brain aneurysm, case closed, move along. But everyone who knew Stanley, everyone who saw what he built, knew that nothing about that night felt natural. His brother still swears Stanley was murdered. And honestly, I'm not sure he's wrong. Because here's the thing that gives me chills. Even today, decades later, nobody has been able to replicate what Stanley claimed to have done. Not exactly, not publicly, not safely. People who try to build similar systems, they get shutdown notices, patents blocked, mysterious visits from inspectors. You name it. It's almost like whatever Stanley discovered wasn't supposed to be discovered. When you look into this story, you start noticing a pattern. Every time someone creates something that threatens a trillion-dollar industry, things go wrong. Projects disappear, people disappear. Ideas get debunked in a way that feels more like burying than science. And it makes you wonder, if Stanley Meyer was a fraud, if his invention didn't work, then why did so many powerful people try so hard to make sure nobody ever saw it again? Why raid his lab? Why seize his documents? Why silence anyone who tried to continue his work? Who does that for a fake invention? But even all that isn't the strangest part. The strangest part is this. Even after he died, the US granted a patent for his water fuel technology, a patent that required evidence the invention actually did what he claimed. Let that sink in. They said it didn't work, but they approved the patent anyway. You can see the documents, you can read them. It's all right there. Stanley Meyer believed the world didn't need to run on oil, or coal, or anything toxic, dirty, or dangerous. He believed humanity was being held back, controlled, kept dependent. And he said something that sticks with me. He said, if I don't do this, nobody will. So yeah, maybe Stanley was wrong. Maybe the car didn't work the way he claimed. Maybe his technology needed more testing. Or maybe he discovered something the world wasn't ready for. Something that threatened the most powerful machine on the planet. The machine that runs on money, control, and fear. And maybe that's why he's not here anymore. Sometimes I wonder, what would the world look like if Stanley had lived? If his invention became the new normal? If cars ran on water instead of oil? If energy was free? If no one could control it? Would the world be cleaner, safer, fairer? Or would everything collapse because the wrong people lost their power? Nobody knows. But the story of Stanley Meyer, the man who built a car that ran on water, never really goes away. It sticks in your head. It makes you question things. And maybe that's why so many people still talk about him. Because deep down, in a world that feels more controlled every day, we love the idea that one regular person could have broken the system. If you want more stories like this, stories that make you question what's possible, what's hidden, and what we're not being told, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.